G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be going through the 6 sheets I have for Collage Club April 2023. So if that's what you're interested in, stick around and I'll let you know what's going on. If not, see you later in the next video. This is sheet number 1. I printed all mine on glossy sticker paper like I usually do. The cut files this month, there are only 3 because the 3 first sheets are the ones that contain like kind of all these like little illustrations and little pieces of imagery. The last 3 are more just like big background type things, and I thought I'd share them with you because they're all very watercolory and really colorful and rainbow, and I just love them. So the first sheet is kind of like the Patreon mini sheet. I've been doing this for the past couple of months, just kind of bundling everything I've been doing on Patreon into like a mini version, just for those who track kind of like the lessons that we do, or those people who aren't in Patreon but like watching it on social media when I post about it. You can have access to some of that stuff as well. So this is all from Patreon. We have our Wednesdays. We have the art of like the art book playtime. This was from Storyteller. This was from my In My Memory and Playback, our new series, where I actually taught these 2 pages, which are old journal pages that I've done. I redid them real time, and these are the 2 that we redid. That's all in Playtest Patreon 3. By the time you see this, the experience will have ended because we're ending it at the end of March. But if you're interested in the bundle, you can go find it on Teachable for $75, and that will give you access to everything we did, all the tutorials, all the downloads, everything from January to March, like the entire Playtest Patreon 3 experience. So that'll be over there, and that'll stay over there just in case you're curious. Just like the old Patreon bundles, they're all over on Teachable now. So that was that's from that. Oh, this is a Wednesday as well. We finished up our Fashion Fridays, and I also had a new series called Refresh. Most of these series will probably come to YouTube at some point this year, and I'll do like YouTube videos that are like a part of this series, but most of like the start of all the series we started in Patreon, so you'll know those won't be released to YouTube. Those will always stay in the bundle, but I will just take the same concept for that series and then just make it a YouTube video about it. So the Refresh one is basically like I do like this. I need to do this. I need to sort this out because it's busting at the seams. I need to figure out which colors I actually want to keep in here as my little pencil case, and then sort out all the other pencils that are like free running around the desk and the desk area. So usually I would just do that by myself, but I figured since I have so many of these art supplies and I love to chat about them, I could film myself doing it, and then that would be a great way to kind of go really in depth with, you know, which colors I really like, which brands I really like, how I like to use them, blah, blah, blah. And we kind of hit on that each time I cleaned something up in the studio. So watercolors was the thing that I did first, and I essentially made my new palette. So I took out all my watercolors that I had, rearranged them all, and came up with this palette. So that's what you'll kind of see swatched later on in these sheets. That is my new palette, this one right here, and that's the swatch card of it. Which I took a photo of. I've kind of switched up half of what I've been doing. If you notice, some things in Collage Club have become a lot more vibrant, or like the colors seem a lot more rich. Sometimes if I can't scan them properly, I've started taking photos of them because the photos will do a better job of translating the color palette. When you put it in the scanner, because the light and the glass is so close to the paper, and it flashes the light up against it and essentially reads the information off the page. If anything's too bright, or especially fluorescent, it doesn't read that properly. But when you actually take a photo of it, it will kind of do a much better job picking up the colors. So especially for palettes, you'll kind of see, I'll show you what happens with scanning versus photography in another sheet. But if you do notice a difference, like especially with photography, sometimes you get a lot more of the paper texture in there. So it'll be a mix. Some things are still worth just scanning and doing, but other things I will take photos of now. So that is the Patreon kind of mini page. The first page, the second and the third, these are kind of a set. These are my 100-day project illustrations, the first 25 of them. So all of these I've been filming, so you might have seen these videos already. And I know a bunch of people have started the 100-day project and are having a great time with that. You obviously don't need to be doing it to enjoy it. I used to love watching people do it. This is just me deciding to have a go at it this year. And it's been great. I figured if I split them up into 25, then fingers crossed, if I get through to 100 over the next few months, we'll have the entire set, and you'll be able to have access to all of those if you're following along, or if you like some of the stuff that I'm doing and you want to have a go at it. All of these are made with stamp sets that I sell, and I know a lot of people have those stamp sets, so this would be a great way to have the reference for you to be able to kind of piece things together. Like if you had the Just Face stamp set, that's that one there. If you have, a lot of them I've mixed, but if you have the little Retro Kawaii stamp set from the Bento Box or from Virtual Voyage 6, if you picked it up open stock, that's this one here. The Cutie Pie stamp set, this one here. Akiko Ayako, like so many of them. I mean, I've used pretty much every stamp set I own at this point. So this is a great way for you to have access to those and maybe give it a go. But yeah, I mean, I'm just really proud of all of them so far. It's kind of neat to see them all next to each other because they're in my journal and they're all just in random spots in my journal, so actually kind of hard to find. So to have them all here, it's like, oh wow, look, I mean, there's no theme or anything. I haven't, it's not like I'm noticing anything specific. I think I'm actually just more impressed with how varied it all looks. It's all very, very, just free form, like I do whatever I please, and the results are what the results are, which is what I like about a challenge, really. So this is, 1 to 25. Hopefully we'll have 4 of these sets and there'll be all 100 of them. We'll see. We'll see how far I go. I am up to, 30? I have no idea where I'm up to, but I know I've finished like a month, which, call that like a monthly challenge win. I've never done the 100-day project before, so it's been interesting to kind of measure it up against what I know about a monthly challenge. It does feel a little different, I think, because the end is so far ahead. I don't see myself like anticipating the end and kind of feeling like, oh, we're almost there. I feel like we're nowhere near there. So it's like a marathon, not a sprint. And so it feels kind of different that way. But anyway, these are all done with my stamp sets. It's Stamp and Illustration. If you want to check out the hashtag, I actually have on my blog, on my website, there's a whole Stamp and Illustration article or a blog post that I wrote so that you could really get a look at the process that I use to do all of this. So either check it out on my blog, which the website is listed in my description, or check out the hashtag Stamp and Illustration, like AN, on Instagram, and you should see everything that I've kind of tagged this way. But I really love it as a technique. I think it really just opens you up to, play, which is obviously what I've done here. And that's why I like it. Those are pages 2 and 3. And then the last 3 pages, this one is technically just a copy of this. I've shrunk it down and reoriented it. And I think I cut out different portions of it to make smaller sections. Think of this as a note paper. You can kind of write on top of it. With the gloss, it's a little bit difficult, but I do have some pens that would work for that. I actually use these as backings for photos. I don't have a photo with me, but like when I'm doing my journaling, I'll put a photo on top of this and I'll cut around the edge so that it'll have a border with all this beautiful color on it, and then I'll stick that down. So my photos kind of have like really cute, colorful patterned borders. It's just a kind of layering thing, but that's what I really love all these for, especially with my travel journals. It just really adds something, I think. So think of these as just kind of like a note paper version or like a little photo version of this. You can obviously do it with this as well, but having the different scale is sometimes good. I will say, and don't mind these little black dots. These were actually, these were not good pieces of paper that the printer turned itself on and made these really random dot prints. I have no idea, but I didn't want to waste the paper, so I used it for this because I knew a lot of the time I would cover that up with the photo anyway, so they don't come with the dots. It's a much cleaner file that you get to download. But with these, if you noticed, there's a lot of things that are really different sizes. Like this is quite big, but this is quite small. Things that are small in your files, you can sometimes, because it's 300 DPI, it's pretty good. You can scale it up a little bit if you want to make it bigger, but a lot of the things that are bigger you can make a lot smaller, and depending on how savvy you are with Photoshop or whatever program you use, I try to keep things relatively well sized so that it fits a variety of circumstances. If you've got an A5 journal, an A4 journal, even something bigger, that you can size it up a bit to be substantial, but also that you can really size everything down. And a lot of the time I don't like to give you things like this because it is essentially something you could do. Like you could just take this file, copy it 4 times into your Photoshop and shrink it down, and then you would have the exact same thing here. So I feel like I'm double handling. The reality is I'd already made this for myself, so I just put it in there for you to have it. So it is a bonus sheet that way, but you might not have picked up on this, maybe you have picked up on it, but yeah, if I do give you things, I rarely like to give you the same thing. I don't think I ever do really give you the same thing twice in different scales, because I figured that most people who would want that would be able to figure out how to do that. Although sometimes, I don't think there was any copies on this sheet, but I did like a tinies version of things. Oh, when we did the Daisy thing, I did do a mini version. So if it's a really difficult file, like if it's a whole 31-day challenge or something, like I do make a mini version of that, because that would just take you guys too long to do. That's boring if you didn't want to do that. So anyway, I guess I do it sometimes if it looks like it's a lot of work, but most of the time it will be a bonus sheet. It won't be something that I actually include as a part of like the 5, because I like it to be as varied as possible. Get some bang for your buck. Anyway, those are the last 2 pages. This one I think was the 4th. Order doesn't matter, but these are swatch cards from my personal collection of watercolor, like swatch cards. These used to be the things that I had inside my little watercolor palette. I have it here. So this is my current setup, and this is the swatch card inside of it. So this one is somewhere on here. I think it's this one. Is it that one? Possibly. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it is that one. Okay, and what you will notice, so first of all, here, this was a photo? No, it was a scan. This one back here was a scan of this, because, can you see the orange, the difference in that color orange and that color orange? This just doesn't scan well. There's something about that color, it just won't pick up on it super well. Even these, actually maybe I did that. No, I think I did that. I think I had lightened it too much. Which is fine, honestly, you don't really notice in all of this. This was the scan. This was the scan here, because some of these colors are actually the same. Like this one right here is supposed to be the Tyrian Rose, and this one is supposed to be this famous pink color. And these fluorescents over here are supposed to be these fluorescents right here. You can see there's a really light pastel version of them if you look really closely, but that's not it there. This, however, was a photo, and can you see how intense these colors were and how we didn't lose those? These were photos. You can also see a lot more paper texture in there than in the scans as well. So that is kind of the difference. When you scan something like this, even though it's a really good high quality resolution for, you know, working with, sometimes you just sacrifice certain colors that the scanner bed won't pick up, because it's really just flashing light. Like you put your thing down like that, it's flashing light onto it and it's bouncing that light back, and depending on the wavelength or whatever, it's saying what color do you think that is. But when the light interacts with these super brights, it doesn't flash back. Like it gets to the closest that it thinks it can be, and it doesn't do a good job of figuring that out. It usually just washes the whole thing out and it becomes really light, or, you know, non-existent at all. So from now on, I'm just going to be a bit more conscious of that. Even these, like, the reason I was able to get such a really beautiful like color spectrum in this is because these are actually photos. These are not scans. If I did a scan of this, you would lose all of these light colored pinks over here. You would lose a lot of the oranges. You would, like, these really light orange in here, you would kind of lose that. You would lose, yeah, mostly the brights. The yellow I actually, it depends on which yellow I use for the watercolor, but sometimes the yellow will stay or the yellow will go. But most of the time it's the oranges and the pinks that have such a difficult time scanning properly. So yeah, that is just something I felt like I would mention. Do you know what? This is the back of that card. I'm totally lying. Okay, so yeah, I'm not lying that these aren't the colors. They're absolutely the colors, but this is a lighter version of them on the back. I did like a watered down version on the back of the swatch card. So this was supposed to be a light version of this anyway, but still, it is, it's not the actual colors. Like these are the actual colors here. Oh, this is the photo. I did take a photo of it. See, I'm not stupid. Can you see how this is a lot more color accurate? Like if you look at that blue compared to this blue here, a lot more accurate. Like that blue and that blue, like really, really similar. So I believe that was a photo. And I just, what color was that? Oh, I'm totally wrong. Yeah, it's back here. No, I am right. I lightened that a lot. It's hard. I mean, honestly, balancing out your colors is hard. I will just be completely honest. I don't do anything color accurate. I do whatever I think is visually the best. And the reality is, I know that people's printers and people's paper is going to also determine, and the settings on your printer too, how it turns out. So I kind of make it the best that I know it can be for the most standard amount of people to enjoy it, like at the best quality. But there really is no virtue to making a fluorescent pink on your screen because no one has fluorescent ink in their ink tank. So there's no point to doing that. I actually try to push it to the most magenta that it can be because that will give you the hottest, most vibrant pink. And whatever I did down here on this color, like I have never seen my printer print something that vivid. So I think we're on to something with the photography instead of the scanning for really rich colors. We'll keep playing with that in the future. I'm learning as we're going. Who knew 3 years in we'd still be learning? But anyway, getting really chatty because I just want to chat to you guys, but that is my whole set for April. I hope you enjoy that. I do plan on continuing with the 100-day project. So April, May, you'll probably have another 25 from this set. There really isn't anything for Easter in here. I mean, is there? There's a little bunny there. You can use that. I've done Easter before in the past. I should just mention, actually, I've updated all the Etsy Collage Club files. So if you are someone that joined later and you don't have access to all those older Easter packs, you can buy any month's individual pack on Etsy. So that'll be linked in the description box below as well. Don't miss out if you need something specific because we roll these through on 4-month cycles. So this will be up until July, I think, and then it'll be rotated off of Collage Club and put onto Etsy. And I think Etsy has the full 2 first years of Collage Club up there now. There's 24 different months. So there's a lot. There's absolutely a ton. You know, I've always had this kind of hope that I would make an index or like a reference book, because I have all of the things, and honestly, like sometimes I don't even know what I've used and what I haven't at this point because there's thousands of images that I've used from my journals. So I do need something, because I usually go back to Teachable to check the back catalog. But I think I want to do, like, maybe on Amazon or something, like how I made those Daisy Ween books. I think I want to do just a full reference book that is just every single page from Collage Club up to now, so that every time I make something I can just flip through it and be like, no, I haven't used that. But also that I could have just this whole book of imagery to look back on, maybe use that when I want to be inspired instead of having to pull out an old journal. But I also love doing that too, so it's probably just something that runs through my head for no other reason than I love to make a product. But yeah, maybe that'll be something I do in the future. Anyway, that's everything. I'm rambling. Enjoy. You have your silhouette files in Collage Club as well. And I'll see you around soon. Have a great start to the month, everybody. I'll be on a cruise next week. So I hope I have a great time, and I hope I'm sharing a lot of it with you whenever you watch this video. I'm sure I will. I can't imagine myself not taking a photo and a video of absolutely everything and popping it online when I get a chance. But yeah, I'll see you around. Have a great day. Bye.